topic that many of us fear to look at or to listen to. My name is Gladys, and I'm a very, very excited Neolife business builder, and also very keen and excited about this issue of health. I got involved in this health and wellness industry by flukes. I was out there. I'm a trained teacher. I had finished my university college, then gone to do some business. I went to work in the bank, and it was a nice place to work. But while I was there, somebody talked to me and told me that I can look at something that I can do part-time. So actually, for me to get involved in this, I got involved because I really wanted something to do away from my banking job. I kept wondering, what else can I do that can give me some extra money? And I thank God I fell in this industry of wellness. So I was invited to a meeting, the way you've been invited. I went into the meeting, and the meeting was exciting because I learned things which no one had elaborated about health and wellness. Ever since I had done my biology classes, I had not really been keen on matters health. And so I remember vividly that day when I went into a meeting one evening after work, and that was my second meeting. I went one evening after work, and a presentation was done, and they really took time to talk about health and wellness, and the reason why whatever they were talking about was based on health. And for me, that clicked in my mind so well. I got very excited. I remember very well, that is quite a number of years ago. I was a young mother, and as a young mother, I was doing things in a very wrong way. So what I did, I sat down there and I was like, wow, does it mean that actually as a young mother, I may be messing up with my children's health in the name of I am feeding them, I'm loving them? And from that day, I have really never looked back. And I said, I will get into this opportunity and learn as much as I can. And it's been a great time, I can tell you for sure. If you're on this call, I want you to have an open mind, a really open mind, because along the way, you're going to learn some things that may help you and your family and the people around you. So that's the brief story about me. I'll be talking a little bit more about myself as we move on. Now, today we decided to talk about a very sensitive issue, the issue of cancer. We are not coming here as serious experts per se. We are coming here to look at how, as lay people, we can be able to help ourselves in the area of prevention, because we are told prevention is always better than cure. I think everybody in the world knows that statement. Prevention is better than cure. We were told that since we were young. But the question is, as much as we are good engineers, we are good teachers, we are good bankers, whatever it is that we do out there, are we also keen on matters health? So that is the reason we are here. And so I want to put that disclaimer: we are not coming to claim that we can cure cancer or anything. We are here as lay people to learn, of course, with a lot of knowledge that we've gotten, and share with you on how we can be on that preventive edge. So we start right away. This is usually the cancer month, breast cancer month, all over the world, where you'll see a lot of pink ribbons, pink colors, all over, promoting the issue of cancer. And I believe more so the prevention of it. And you know, cancer can be both for men and women, but I will not go into the details. I'll talk generally about all cancers so that we know what can we do for ourselves and our families in terms of prevention? So we've always been told that your health is your greatest wealth. Your greatest wealth is your health. Your health is your greatest wealth. Why is that so? That is so because, as much as we are trying to make money and live large, live comfortable, if we don't take health as a big element of our life, then that becomes a big problem, because we may make money and then we also may lose it, either in our own health or the health of the people around us. So this should be a very serious and collective initiative for all of us. And the information we are getting, we need to take it down to our family members, and we be very keen on, we keep sharing this information until we have healthy eating habits, so that we can be able to do our part, So I will be beginning from there. We'll be talking about cancer and some of the, just give me a minute. I'll start by talking about what is happening in the world. In the world, some years ago, the World Health Organization actually gave a report that by 2020, where we are right now, that there will be a lot of chronic diseases. And they actually projected that out of every 4 deaths, 3 will be out of chronic diseases. When we talk about these chronic diseases, before we used to call them degenerative diseases. These are the challenges that come, not because you're bitten by a mosquito, or because you got a virus, or those kind of things really. Many times they come because of our lifestyles, the way we are living our life. That contributes a big deal into the challenges we are seeing today. And we are being told the #1 killer today is actually heart disease. Heart diseases are #1 killers, because sometimes your first heart attack can be your last. And they are silent killers. We may be where we are right now. If the doctors came to us, let's assume we were in a room and they came to us right now, we might be surprised that even our pressure is high, our cholesterols are high, our body fat is high, and we don't know. And that eventually comes and becomes a problem. So heart disease is a big one. Another one following very closely is cancer. Cancer has become a serious one in Kenya, taking people down a lot, or rather even interfering with people's productivity and their health, their life expectancy. And that's a big one. Then we have other things like asthma and bronchitis, other things like Alzheimer's, that is the disease of forgetting. Diabetes is also a big one. And other challenges that come with maybe weight, obesity, there could be strokes, kidney issues. And so today we are going to focus on mainly cancer, just at least to have an understanding what this could be. This challenge that has really been pestering people a lot. Cancer cells are very tricky, because according to the World Health Organization, according to the scientists, we are actually being told that we all may have cancer cells in our body. Now, potential cancer carriers, we all have some level of cancer cells in our body, carcinogens. But the issue is, are we feeding them or are we starving them in terms of the lifestyle that we are living? And that's what we are here to learn about, So basically, a cancer cell is a cell that will divide. It is carcinogenic. There will be abnormal cells that will come and subdivide themselves and regroup and become tumors. And we have two types of tumors. There are those that are cancerous, and they cause a lot of havoc in our body. And there are those that are benign. A benign tumor does not spread. It just remains where it is. But a cancerous tumor actually has potential to spread to other parts of the body, making it very difficult even for doctors to do something about it. So you see, like, what happens is when a cell, like when you look at the A part of it there, a normal, say, for example, a normal blood cell or any other cell. Among those cells, there could be one that is very healthy and there could be one that is unhealthy. And it mutates. It starts mutating. And the worst bit about an unhealthy blood cell or a cancerous cell, it starts siphoning nourishment away from the body's blood supply. And in the long run, they start coming and become, they group together, become a cancerous tumor, and they affect the body organs. So they just keep multiplying themselves, depending with the environment that is in our system. Of course, there are various reasons why we get cancer. There are many, we'll be looking at them. But as you can see there, when you look at metastasizing, it could start from right at the primary source, like maybe from there. And as it keeps on, depending on the environment in the body, it metastasizes to other areas like the liver and other organs, the bloodstream, and it becomes very difficult even when doctors are thinking about the treatment. That is why we are normally told we need to keep going for tests. When you feel your body has a challenge, it's important to go for a test so that if something of that nature is happening, it is arrested early before it metastasizes to those other areas that we are talking about. So we need to really listen to our bodies so that we can be able to tell if there's something amiss, then at least the doctors are able to arrest it very, very early. So basically, there are many types of cancer, and they are grouped in 6 major categories. But we have about 200 types. That's serious. Imagine things, you can't even start fathoming the kind of challenge people are having in the world with these 200 types. We have what we call the carcinoma types of cancers. These are the ones that start in a cell or a tissue, you know, or the lining of an organ. And then, of course, that becomes the primary source of that. We have the ones that are called sarcoma. Sarcoma starts in the bone tissues or the soft tissues, connective tissues, and then from there, eventually they can metastasize to other areas. Then we have myeloma types, which are in the plasma cells. I think you all know that liquid called the plasma, the white blood cells in the bone marrow, and that can affect the bones, the kidneys, the immune system, the red blood count starts being affected. That one is closely related to leukemia, which is blood-related cancers, which are quite a challenge because fighting, the immunity really goes down and it really fights. It is very hard because infections keep coming up. The body is not having the ability to fight the infections because the blood cells that fight for us and other things, they are challenged, even the bone marrow. Then we have the lymphoma. The lymphoma, of course, that is the lymphatic system. We know what the lymphatic system is. The lymphatic system is very large, and the work of the lymphatic system is to fight for us. You know, it's a body's fighting network, and that affects the lymph nodes, the spleen, the bone marrow, the thymus, gland, and then we have other mixed type, which could be a mixture of one or two of those things. So that's what happens. We have many types. Some of the very, very common ones that we know is lung. Lung cancers are very common. Breast cancers are common both to men and women. Prostate, of course, that is for men specifically. It's becoming a challenge to many. Skin and colon, very many people are having challenges with the common digestive areas, stomach, kidney, liver, you know, leukemia, we've looked at that, brain tumors. So we have quite a number of them, but these are basically the main common ones. And all the others that are not there, you can look out for them. There are many, many types. In Kenya today, or in the world today, cancer is the 3rd highest cause of morbidity. Either 3rd or 2nd, there in between, depending, because some areas have a lot of infections, that could be the 2nd leading. And we even have children who have cancers. Like we are told that if you go to Kenyatta, 15% of cancer admissions, their childhood admissions, even our children get affected. So even as parents, we really need to look keenly on what we need to do so that we are able to protect our children right from when they are young. What are we feeding them so that they can be able to fight off these things? And there are many cases of cancer every other year, and it's a very expensive disease to treat and to work on. And even the doctors sometimes they really get overwhelmed, especially in the areas where it has moved to other organs. What are the likely causes of cancer? Some are not known, but ideally some are biological. You know, it could be genes that are inherited from the family. If they are defective, one could inherit that. Others could be internal factors or biological factors. You know, sometimes even the age matters because maybe as the older you become, the more likely maybe you could have gotten a lot of that exposure to those cells for a long time. Sometimes it's gender, because of course some cancers are specific to certain genders. Like for women, we have the breast, the cervical, the ovaries, and for men, we have the prostate. So it could even be genders. Others could be environmental exposures. And that here we have to be very careful because like when you look at our skin, like our face gets a lot of thrashing from the sun. You know, the sun, the UVA rays, they really have a lot of radiation that affects each one of us. So even we could be thinking, what do I do with my skin in terms of even my face, in terms of giving it protection from that radiation, whether it is the harsh environment of the hot sun that is really hot, not like the morning one that is great because of the vitamin D exposure, but there is that other one that can really be quite a challenge. Others could be occupational. Occupational means you could be working in an environment that can be challenging, very, very challenging, radioactive materials and chemicals. And then a big one where we should all be very concerned, lifestyle related. Our eating habits, our sleeping habits, you know, those habits. So we need to take care of that especially, and all the other areas we've seen that depend on us, so that at least we can reduce the risk of the spread of those carcinogenic cancers in our system. When we talk about a healthy lifestyle, really, we are talking about certain things that we need to look at. Number one, diet. Diet is what you eat, doesn't matter what. But there's a difference between diet and nutrition. So the question is, in your mind, whenever you are eating, ask yourself, when I eat, am I eating food that is nutritious? Or am I just eating? You know? So we need to be very careful because 95% of the population, they are deliberately eating foods that doesn't have a variety of the nutrients the body needs to fight off some of these challenges. Very, very critical. We'll be looking at that. Exercise. When we were in school, we hated cross country, we hated PE. But I think the teachers should have talked a little bit more and put it in our little brains that exercise is important for our health. And even after we leave school, that we need to continue with exercise. So where you are seated, ask yourself, am I living an active life? Am I living a life that is laid back? Active means there's a lot of movement. You need to walk a lot. You need, if you can, you run. If you can, you need to go to the gym, but of course you have to control that as well. You shouldn't overdo it, and yet you're not feeding your body well. That also could be having effects. So there should be a balance there. And we need to dedicate at least 3 times a week to a 20 to 30 minutes exercise regime. Especially this time of Corona, we've sat enough in the houses. It's the high time we start moving, because you're not stopped from going for a walk, going for a run. You can do it as a family. And you know, you keep the children keeping you on your toes. Give them that role of keeping you on your toes. Kids are very good. Daddy, mommy, you said we will walk together. It's time now, you know, and then you make it a habit. And you keep telling them that they need to continue with that habit until when, I think we should stop exercising when we are leaving the world. So if you are seated there and you're saying, I'm old, I'm in my 50s, I'm in my 40s, I'm 60, I can't exercise, that's a lie from the devil. You need to exercise. The other thing is resting. Are we sleeping enough? We need at least 6 hours. If you can sleep a little bit more, 8 is good. But anything below 6, not good for you. The reason is, if you have very little time for sleeping, there are those chemicals that are emitted that could be dangerous if you're not having good rest. And that is why a standard 6 hours rest is very, very important. And you should not even oversleep. Oversleeping is also equally dangerous. I know we have our youth who are doing 8, 10, 12 hours. Is not good, unless the little kids. So you should not oversleep and you should not undersleep. Very important. I would like you to go and do more research to understand the benefits of sleeping and the negative effects of not sleeping well. Very, very important. Water. Water is very critical, especially in this topic we are talking today about cancer. Why is water important? Water cleanses your system. It's a detoxifier, so it is very important. And when I talk about water, I'm not saying maji ya ndimu, chai, kahawa, sodas. No, 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 no. We are talking about water. It has its place, and you need to make sure that water that you take is filtered. Too much distilled water, you need to know, is not distilled waters, carbonated waters. They are not as healthy as people think. So filtered water is great. So you need to have your 2 liters of water, even as in between you are taking your other lemon water, you put cucumber and whatever else we do to alkaline our body. And on this area, when we talk about drinks, please avoid frizzy drinks. They are not good for you, especially the chemical ones. The reason why I'm saying this is because when you take water or drinks, they go straight away to your bloodstream. Then they don't go through a lot of digestion issues. They go straight to your bloodstream. So you have to be careful. What are you throwing into your bloodstream? Sunlight, very important. I remember when we were young, we would bask. Whether you are in school or at home, we'd go out there and bask. But these days we wear trousers, maybe as very often. We are not exposing ourselves to the healthy sun that comes between 9 and midday, so that we have our vitamin D. You need to do your research and find out that vitamin D is very, very important for immune boosting. So once in a while, go out there for your 10, 15 minutes and bask. If you can, you wear as scantily as possible, of course, within the comfort of where you live, so that you can get enough of it in the body. Then air. Air is wonderful, and that is why sometimes we are told we need even to do the breathing exercises in the morning, early in the morning before the air is polluted. It's important to breathe in, because an oxygenated body cannot, cancers don't survive very well in oxygenated bodies. So you need to do a lot of breathing so that your body has a lot of oxygen to take all over to all the parts of your body. Very, very important. I think we need to keep reminding ourselves on some of these small things. Something I should have said there. You need to be careful if you live near someone who smokes. Secondary smoking is very dangerous for your lungs and for the rest of the body. So there are those people who smoke. I don't know what I can tell them, because we are clearly told that smoking is dangerous for your health. I pray to God that they can work on it. But if you stay near a secondary smoker, you need to be very careful, because that definitely affects you as a person. So let's go to weight. Weight also. Weight is a very high contributing factor of unhealthy health. And I know many times weight comes in slowly by slowly. And before we know it, burning it becomes very difficult. So if you are here and you don't have weight, please make sure you stay within the ideal body mass weight, the body mass index. That is 18.5 to 24.9. You calculate it by doing your weight in kilos in a layman's way. Weight in kilos divided by your height in meters squared. The index you get should be between 18.5 to 24.9. If it has come to 25 to 29, you need to do something about it now. If it has gone to 30, you have a lot of work to do. You need to just get a support group and work on it. But please, when you are losing your weight, do it in a healthy way. Do it in a very healthy way so that you don't starve your body from the nutrients that it needs to continue being healthy. And of course, above that, oh, that is serious. Now let's talk about diet, because those are some of the things we can control as ourselves. What is happening today? There's a research that was done in America between 1946 to 1958 by the American government, trying to seek and find out why these challenges are so common. And in 1958, the scientists, after that heavy funding, they actually realized that the biggest challenge was diet. Diet played a big challenge. Of course, the other things we've talked about play a very big role. Rest, sleeping, sunlight, even your temperament. I should have said that. Temperament is very important for maintaining our health and keeping even challenges like cancer away. So diet became the issue they realized in 1958, taken to the government, and those scientists, they actually realized clearly we were not eating well. As you can see there in that diagram, you can see that there's a whole meal bread and there's a white bread. I can tell you for sure, if you left this bread somewhere on the floor, the flies will not come for the white one because it doesn't have real nutritional value. It will come for the brown one. After a few days, the brown one will get mold and start growing things because there's life in it. The white one will remain the way it is, as clean as it is, even for a month. Because why? Because this whole grain has been removed. And this is very, very critical for our cells. I'll be talking about that as we move on. So that is one of the reasons we are here, because based on that, the company we are with, Neolife, actually was formed based on that research that was done in 1958, and the scientists involved, they actually started it because they needed to get a solution into the world. There are people who are well read, and they knew because of our diets today, the junk foods we are promoting everywhere. If you go on TV, we are not promoting health. The government is not promoting health as it should. A big budget should be doing that. There's a lot of promotion for junk food. Social media, come buy one, get one free. All over, all places, our children are actually being oriented into this. And you can imagine the same children, when they become pregnant, you know, this is what the young people are going to take in terms of nutrition from the mother's milk. And that is really disturbing. But even as grown-ups, we are not left behind. We do eat junk. They are fast to eat, easier to get when you're working, but in themselves, we may be digging our graves with our forks. So because of the junk food, you find we get that extra calories, our insulin and sugar spikes go, we become pre-diabetic or actually diabetic. We have blood issues. The blood issues like high blood pressure, strokes, you know, the heart can enlarge. We could have clots. Those things can be quite a challenge. It could also be a challenge of the shortness of breath, depression. Whatever we eat depends a lot on whether most people who get depression, diet has something to do with it, as of course, as much as there are other social factors related to that. So we need to make sure our children are well fed so that they don't become victims of depression, because we are getting more numbers of young people going to that. Dental issues, headaches, you know, acne. Those are things we need to look into. We've talked about weight, of course. Now, when we talk about healthy food, that healthy pyramid there is what is recommended by the United States Department of Agriculture, World Health Organization, and other institutes, and of course, Neolife. This was formed in 1958 by scientists when they formed Neolife, and many institutions have come and we flow in the same language. And it is where we are told we need, when you're eating grains, anything that is from grains, wheat, rice, soya, maize. It should be wholemeal. With that jam I showed you in that diagram, there's a reason why you need the jam and the fiber. They are very critical, as much as the starch is good for energy. But it should not just be on its own. The jam must be there, the fiber must be there, because they play a very big role in the body. And then, of course, we need a lot of fruits and vegetables. We are told we need a serving of up to 10 to 15 in today's world, because of even the farming elements, the way people farm. Sometimes we are getting deprived of many nutrients. So you need to sample very many fruits and vegetables within a day to get very many vitamins and minerals as the body requires. So that is very critical. And then, of course, we need good protein. We need plant protein, very healthy, white meat. And when we do the animal proteins, we need to control that. We should not overindulge in a lot of meat. That we should do maybe twice a week, small portions. But this story of eating a lot of meat, especially grilled, charcoal grilled, it can be very, very dangerous for our health. And so are some of the things that could even be elements of cancer causers. Too much milk, not good for us. And then, of course, oils. The oils should be minimal. The sugars should be minimal. In the olden days, sugar used to be kept very far, somewhere in a corner in the cupboard. But in today's life, we've actually inverted the pyramid upside down. The sugar is right at the table. Even a 2-year-old can add sugar for themselves. And after they are done with the sugar, they have a cake. After that, they are done with the cake, they eat a mandazi later, or a samosa, And even us, moving around, we are eating a lot of cakes, a lot of cookies, a lot of ngumus, KDFs have become something, crisps. I mean, if we are to look at the many starchy things we eat in a day, they are too much. The soft drinks, that the worst bit is that they are added preservatives, additives, and colors. All those things are chemically manufactured. And of course, they'll come and fight our system, and they are the ones that denature the DNA of our cells. And then they mutate our cells into something that is not good. And so you can see we've inverted this pyramid upside down, and that's not good. Now, the top part here, and the sugars and the animal protein in excess, they make the body acidic. And an acidic body is it's a very, what can I say? It's an easy prey for cancer cells to thrive. But the lower part where you are having the whole grains, fruits, and vegetables, they alkaline the body. And that's what we need to learn to maintain. Having an alkaline body, and of course, taking the water we've talked about. How do we avoid the following? To avoid those challenges of having the things we've looked at, please avoid taking excessive animal proteins. We are not saying meat is bad, meat is great, but please do not overindulge, because it's a very difficult thing to even digest for the system. Meat can take up to 72 hours to be digested and taken care of and excreted out of the system or utilized by the system. So if you are eating meat in every other meal, that is burdening the body in a way you can't imagine. Don't take excess fats, not good for you. I'm sorry I have to talk about the margarines. I don't want to mention breads, but I can see some are mentioned here, I'm sorry. But the margarines we have may not be great for us. Try to go more for the natural stuff, like maybe peanut butters or something that is a little bit not too heavy for the system in terms of that oil that can endanger us and even give us cholesterol. Refined carbohydrates are definitely a no. But of course, we have them in our meals. I don't know what we can do about that, because we no longer take whole grains that have the fiber. The fiber ensures that the carbohydrates that are in our diet are not injected in the bloodstream very fast. So it is very important to have it whole, or make sure if you do a lot of that carbohydrates, you have enough fiber that you are injecting in your body to be able to balance the injection of refined sugar, because refined starch is generally sugar, it's glucose, and too much glucose in the body is turned into fat. So those two elements are really dangerous. And of course, excessive intake of alcohol and smoking and caffeine Anything that is caffeinated too much is not really good for us. And definitely stress. Yes, the world is stressful. Yes, we have pressure of performing in the society. But could we try our very best to manage our stress levels? When you feel stress is coming up, please go and find out ways you can actually reduce that. Now, what are the prevention measures in terms of food that we can do today? One is the body needs a lot of beta carotene and the carotenoid family of fruits. Please write that, take a screenshot so that you can understand what carotenoids are. Carotenoids are gotten from green veggies, red and orange vegetables. And the carotenes are very good immune boosters in the body. They fight for you. So you need to know that those are elements that are very critical. The B vitamins are equally great. They are good immune boosters. Vitamin C, they are normally called antioxidants. When there is oxidation in the body, they come and counteract oxidation, and oxidation is very dangerous in our system. So the vitamin B's and C's are very critical. And then the vitamin E is also a very good immune booster, very critical. We need things like calcium, enough in our bodies, because calcium is good for even our circulatory system. It's required in the bones, because you know some cancers are also bone related. When you have cancer, it really affects the bones. They become very brittle and it can be very uncomfortable. And we need omega oils. If you read more into omega oils and tumors, you'll understand why it's important to have omega in your diet, right from when a child is young. And we need fiber. Fiber has no nutritional value, but it has a lot of use in the body. Coenzyme 10, that's an enzyme, you know. You can read more about CoQ10 and the benefits of CoQ10 in the body, cruciferas and flavonoids. Cruciferas, flavonoids are other elements like carotenoids that come from other fruits that protect specific parts. Carotenoids will protect the oily parts of the body against even cancer cells. Flavonoids will protect the watery parts of the body, even against cancer cells. Cruciferas will protect the hormonal parts of the body. So men and women, you need to understand that we can't stay away from cruciferas as we age because of the hormonal cancers as well. Now, very quickly, Neolife was formed in 1958, as I said, and it was formed because the founder here was a beneficiary of health. He was born a child who was very asthmatic, and because his mother met somebody who was able to encourage her to add some vitamins and fish oil to his health, his asthma got sorted out. And in the process of mingling with the scientists I talked about, they actually formed this company. And this company has been in existence for 62 years. And it's all over the world in about 50 world markets. In Kenya, it's been here for 23 years. And what is the role? The role of Neolife is looking at where your deficits are. You need to understand we do have deficits in our body. And that's where we come and fill that deficit. There's a scientific advisory board. And just in case you are here, you could be skeptical, please go to and search for the Neolife Scientific Advisory Board, read about each of these scientists specifically, and understand that they are renowned scientists all over the world. They are very well known, and all of them have written peer-reviewed journals, you know, scientific journals that are published. When you hear somebody has published review journals in the medical field, just know those are scientists in another level. This is the founder, is called Dr. Otherfirst. Dr. Otherfirst is very keen in the world, important in the world today, because he is the one who engineered the oral chemotherapy, the treatment of cancer using chemo. And he was given a Nobel Prize because of that. And while they treated cancer with chemo, he also realized that those chemicals they actually affect people. And so we need to know whenever we have challenges of the cancer nature, after treatment, along the way, people need to know that they need to detoxify that so that those chemicals don't stay in the body. They may not be healthy after they've done their work of killing the cancerous cells. So what they did, they started now doing their research, and they made sure that they started having farms that had organically grown foods. And those foods, and wherever it is that they get the raw materials, there are stringent measures so that they can come up with top-notch supplements. Now, if you're on this call, I want to tell you that in the Western world, people eat badly, but they do supplement a lot. When you go to the Asian countries, they eat very well and they do supplement. That is why in Asia, we have people over 80 years, they are very many, very, very many. But now when we come to Africa, as much as we have good foods and everything, we are not eating as well as we should because we are refining our foods and we are not supplementing. And it's a no wonder we have very many cases of chronic challenges, which we are seeing. We all know it is a fact, which we really need to help the government, because we are the ones on the ground. We are the ones cooking. We are the ones making the choices of foods. And so we need to understand, where is my gap for me and my family? Because we need to fill those gaps. So we need to take that responsibility. And so Neolife wants to take that journey with you. So they realized for the whole grains, what we normally miss a lot is the germ I talked about. That germ is very important for maintaining all your body cells. If your cells do not have the oils that are called lipids and sterols, you're in trouble. And that is the beginning. And so there's that tree, and then I'll be talking a little bit about it. For the fruits and the vegetables, where you realize you eat a very small, there are some people who eat cabbage and sukuma from January to December. If it's a fruit, they eat banana. Na wanapita na kamelon hivi tu akipita. Throughout, we never do that big variety because the variety gives as many of the vitamins and minerals for immune boosting as possible. I'll be talking about that. For good protein, especially for people already who have cancer, they have a problem with their immunity. And when they go through treatment, their body suffers a lot. And they need to rebuild the cells afresh. Good cells are fresh so that they are more than the cancer cells that are challenging them. Good protein is very, very important for bodybuilding. We all know we were told protein is bodybuilding. So we need to rebuild and repair those cells. And that's where this shake will come in. I'll talk about that and the importance of omega-3. Now, when you look at that cell, the first cell, it's unhealthy. Why is it unhealthy? Because we are not having the good oils from the grains. If we are eating rice, we eat white rice. So we are not getting the germ, the bran. When we eat wheat extracts, we are not eating it as whole meal. It is white. When we are eating maize, we are not eating it right from the farm to the portion meal without removing anything. We eat it refined. So we are lacking something we call lipids and sterols. And when our body starves the lipids and the sterols, it becomes unhealthy. Remember when we were doing biology, or was it physics? We'd scoop a potato and there was water there and there would be osmosis. At least you can understand that in a layman's language. That is what happens in your cell. If your cell is not well nourished and doesn't have the good oils, what is the effect? Good nutrition is not coming to the cells, and a lot goes to waste. So if your cells are unhealthy, you may eat a good meal, but it is not benefiting you because your cells are hardened and there is impairment. And then, of course, after the metabolism, whenever there's metabolism, there's waste to go out. Like a machine, waste must go out. Then there's inhibition of the waste going out. Therefore, in 1958, TNN was done to give us the lipids and the sterols to repair our cells. So who needs the TNN? We all do. You do, your parents do, your children do. That's where now you look at, I eat this, I need to have my TNN so that I repair my damaged cells, I have a healthy cell. When this cell is healthy, then it is able to receive other nutrients and fight for you where need be, okay? When you take your TNN, it optimizes growth, it optimizes utilization of nutrients and even hormones. The other category of the fruit, the vitamins we need to look at, and I mentioned them, is the carotenoids, the flavonoids and the cruciferas. The carotenoids take care of the oily parts of your body. Anything oily in the body needs antioxidants that are oil-based. That's where the carotenoids come. And this is not just a name for our products. It's a name for the foods. With that specific work they do. Please go and read more of what carotenoids do. Google will give you very good and specific information, what they will do for you. The other category I told you is flavonoids. Flavonoids are great for the oil-based areas, like the lymphatic system. Our lymphatic system, I told you, is a system that fights for you. It's one of the largest systems we have in the body. So it helps boost the fighting network is boosted in the lymphatic area. So you need to make sure that that area is taken care of. And then the cruciferas is for hormones. So if you want to keep things like fibroids away, things like cysts away, prevention, cruciferous fruits, and vegetables are very critical, like the broccoli, the cauliflower, the turnips, cabbage, kale, very, very important. They should be elements in our diet. And that forms a powerful product called phytodefense. Phytodefense is a combination of the carotenoids, the flavonoids, and the cruciferas in the minimum requirement of 6 servings of fruits and vegetables, okay? So the carotenoids will give you 3 of them, 2 flavonoids, 1 cruciferas, and that's a base to give your body a boost. Where there were issues that were coming up, you're able to do the prevention, and you know the body is able to destroy harmful cells. So this is what these products will actually do for you. It will already, because we all have harmful cells in our body. So that is very, very critical. Something else very, very important is the hormonal cancers we see. Of course, this month is dedicated to breast cancer. For women, one of the elements is the hormonal imbalance. And when hormonal imbalance is there, it becomes a challenge. Our grandparents had herbs that were specific to the hormones. I need to finish. So feminine herbal is very good for balancing your hormones. It's needed for all women, right from 12 years old. And even if you're able to do it at least once a quarter, if you have a challenge, you need to do it much more often. For the men, we have masculine herbal. The omega oils and the zinc is very critical for prostate issues. So this masculine salmon zinc is very important for prostate issues. For women, we've seen feminine cruciferas, carotenoids are very, very critical for the women area. Something else that is very important is garlic. Garlic, because pathogens also affect us with cancers. Some viruses, some bacteria are causes. So we need to always take something that is antibacterial, antiviral very often. And this one is made from garlic, chives, onions, and leeks. That combination is very important. Why is that so? Because the allicin that is important is protected so that when you take it, it goes up to the small intestines, bursts there, and then goes straight away to do its work. So that allicin element of it, and then of course the smell. No one likes that smell of garlic. Then we talked about NutriShake and the repair. Where there's damage, if somebody is challenged, maybe they are going through chemotherapy, they are going through treatment, they cannot eat, and of course they need to repair their cells and have new cells. NutriShake is very critical. It has the 22 amino acids, it's a full meal, it has a lot of vitamins and minerals. So that is a very good product for that. For the children, we could be having the Vita Squares, the Vita Guard, the NutriShake, and the omega-3. So we also have that pack for the children so that we prevent that. then of course BetterGuard is for detoxifying. Everybody on this call, we need to detoxify once a year. So once in a year, we have to remove the toxins that are in our body. Some of them are metallic. They need something to pick them out and push them out. And fiber is very critical. So there's CoQ10, read more about it. BetterGuard, I've said, I recommend it to everybody on this call. Please give yourself that gift. Don't buy yourself a dress on your birthday or that you go and buy a bag or a shoe. Get yourself BetterGuard and detoxify. It's very important once in a year. For our parents, because of Alzheimer's, the brain, sometimes it carries a lot of challenges over the years. They also need to detoxify so that they can have a clear brain as they move on. And I think I'm done with our session today. Thank you so much for being part of us. What can I say? If you're a guest and as a distributor, let's make our health our prerogative. Let's help the nation by eating right so that we don't burden the medical area. So that when we visit our doctors, we are going for checkups, or if there are accidents, not anything that we can actually prevent. So that is very, very important. Now, we are opening our hands as a family, Neolife. We tell you that these products are available, but they can only be available if you can be a member or from the person who invited you. If you feel you'd want to keep learning more about what we do, we are here every Sunday, 4 to 5. You can be part of Neolife, you as a person. When you come in here, the company will provide you with an app that will teach you a lot. They will direct you to the Neolife University, where you learn a lot in terms of nutrition. You will have a website, which is personally your own, and you'll also use it to build yourself. And if you're on this call and you'd like to make money, you can make a lot of money. How can you do that in closing? You come, you start using the products. Why? Because you love yourself. Why wouldn't you use them? Yet you buy Coca-Cola, you buy Bluebird, you buy sugar. These are products that can help your system. But we want you to learn more about them so that even as you take them, you're understanding what you're doing. So once you use the products, when you get your testimonies and you feel good and you understand what you're doing, then you can talk to your friends and your relatives about it. Very important. And remember, we also have products we have detergents that are earth friendly. They're biodegradable, no chemicals. We have skincare that is not chemical. We have a farm product called Supergrow that is not chemical. So you have a community of people using products that are quality. And you can make it as a business. Why not? We've done it. I've done it for 18 years. It's great. And then, of course, you can have other people come in here and they become members like you. And they will be directly connected to the company. Then the company will use you as their trainer. The company will want you to train as many people as possible. That's what we do. And you can build it as a business. And you find you save money when you buy for yourself. You can build a wealth of up to 50,000, 100,000, 200,000, 500,000. Some people earn millions in a month. You will get to know more about that. So if you're on this call, please talk to the person who invited you and tell them you want to learn more. And if you are like me, 18 years ago, I went to a meeting like this and I told the person who invited you, I'm in. I'm totally in. I'm in for the health. I'm in for the money. I'm in for traveling, because we also travel internationally to expose you to meet other people who are doing well, who can advise you. So on behalf of Paul Mwatu, our Director of Sales International, on behalf of Judith Njeru, who is usually our convener on Sundays, I want to say it was a privilege to talk to you. And please, if you have any question, talk to the person who invited you and engage them. And please stay locked here every Sunday, 4 to 5. God bless you, and let's meet one day, maybe in the beaches of the world, when we are healthy with our grandchildren. God bless you.